링스 때문에 인기 있을 수도 있어.
엄마 목소리 들어간다 지금 유튜브 찍는다. Clash of Kings 326쪽 있습니다. 너무 어색해. 근데 아무도 안 봐 어차피.
어차피 처음에는 다 어색한 게 정상인 거야.
Brothers, so he sent little Walder some bold
그러다
feet
점점
and big
뻔뻔해지긴
Walder
하시지.
the mother turnips. On the benches below, Winterfell men mixed with small folk from the Wintertown, friends from the near Holfest, and the escorts of the lowly guests. Some faces Bran had never seen before, others he knew as well as his own, yet they all seemed equally foreign to him. He watched them from a distance, as if he still sat in the window of his bedchamber, looking down on the yard below, seeing everything yet a part of nothing. Osha moved among the tables pouring ale. One of Leobard Tallheart's men slid a hand up under her skirts, and she broke the flagon over his head, to roars of laughter. Yet Mikken had his hand down some women's bodies, and she seemed not to mind. Bran watched Ferlin make his right beach back for bones and smiled at old Nan, plucking at the crust of hot pie with wrinkled fingers. On the days Lord Wayman attacked a steaming plate of lampreys, as if they were an enemy host. He was so fat that Sir Roderick had commanded that a special white chair be built for him to sit in, but he laughed so loud and often, and Bran thought he liked him. Poor one Lady Hornet sat beside him, her face a stony mask, as she picked listlessly at her food. At the opposite end of the high table, Hothin and Morse were playing a drinking game, slamming their horns together as hard as knights meeting in joust. It is too hot here, and too noisy, and they are all getting drunk. Bran itched under his grey and white woolens, and suddenly he wished he were anywhere but here. It is cool in the garden now. Steam is rising up the hot pools, and the red leaves of the weirwood and rustling. The smells are richer than here, and before long the moon will rise and my brother will sing to it. Bran, said Sir Roderick said, you do not eat. 야, 안 된다. The waking dream had been so vivid, for a moment Bran had not known where he was. I'll have more later, he said. My belly is full to bursting. The old knight's white moustache was pink with wine. You have done well, Bran, here. And at the audiences, you will be an especial fine lord one day, I think. I want to be a knight. Bran took another sip at the spiced honey wine from his father's goblet, grateful for something to clutch. The lifelike head of the sneering dial was raised on the side of the cup. He felt the silver muzzle pressing against his palm, and remembered the last time he had seen his lord father drink from this goblet. It had been the night of the welcoming feast, when King Robert had brought his court to Winterfell. Summer still reigned then. His parents had shared the days with Robert and his queen, with her brothers beside her. Uncle Benjen had been there too, all in black. Bran and his brothers and sisters sat with the king's children, Joffrey and Tommen and Princess Marcella, who spent the whole meal gazing at Robb with adoring eyes. Arya made faces across the table when no one was looking. Sansa listened raptly whilst the king's high harper sang songs of chivalry, and Regan kept asking why Jon wasn't with them, Because he's a bastard, Bran finally had to whisper to him. And now they were all gone. They are all gone. It was as if some cruel god had reached down with a great hand and swept them all away. The girls to captivity, thrown to the wall. Rob and mother to war. King Robert and father to their graves, and perhaps Uncle Benjamin as well. Even down on the branches there were new men at the tables. Jory was dead, and Fat Tom and Porter Alin, Desmond Hoolan, who had been master of horse, Harvin his son, all those who had gone south with his father, even Septa Mordane and Vayenpool. The rest had ridden to war with Rob, and might soon be dead as well as for all Bran knew. He liked Hayhead and Poxy Team and Skidtrick and the other new men well enough, but he missed old friends. He looked up and down the benches at all the faces happy and sad, and wondered who would be missing next year and the year after. He might have cried then, but he couldn't. He was the Stark in Winterfell, his father's son and his brother's heir, and almost a man grown. At the foot of the hall the doors opened, and a gust of cold air made the torches flame brighter for an instant. El Valley led 2 new guests into the feast. The Lady Mira of House Reed. The rotund guardsman bellowed over the clamour, with her brother Jojen of Greywater Watch. Men looked up from their cups and trenchers to eye the newcomers. Bran heard the little warder mutter, Frogetters, to Big Walder beside him. So Roderick climbed to his feet. Be welcome, friends, and share the harvest with us. This harvest with us. Serving men hurried to lengthen the table on the dais, fetching trestles and chairs. Who are they? Rickon asked. Madmen, answered the little warder disdainfully. They're thieves and cravens, and they have green teeth from eating frogs. Maester Luwin crouched beside Bran's seat to whisper counsel in his ear. You must greet these ones warmly. I have not thought to see them here, but you know who they are. Bran nodded. Cragnomen from the Neck. Howland Reed was a great friend to your father, Sir Roderick told him. These 2 are his, it would seem. As the newcomers walked the length of the hall, Bran saw that one was indeed a girl, though she would never have known it by her dress. She wore lambskin breeches soft with long use and a sleeveless jerkin armoured in bronze scales. Though near Rob's age, she was slim as a boy, with long brown hair knotted behind her head, and only the very suggestion of breasts. A woven net hung from one slim hip, a long bronze knife from the other. Under her arm she carried an old iron greatham spotted with rust. A frog spear and a round leathern shield were strapped to her back. Her brother was several years younger and bore no weapons. All her garb was green, even to the leather of his boots, and when he came closer, Bran saw that his eyes were the color of mouse, though his teeth looked as white as anyone else's. Both Reeds were slight of build, slender as swords, and scarcely taller than Bran himself. They went to one knee before the dais. My lords of Stark, the girl said, the years have passed in their hundreds and their thousands since my folk just first swore their fealty to the king in the north. My lord father has sent us here to say the words again for all our people. She's looking at me, Bran realized. He had to make some answer. My brother Rob is riding in the south, he said, but you can say your words to me if you like. To Winterfell with pledge the fate of Greywater, they said together. Hearth and heart and harvest we yield up to you, my lord. Our swords and spears and arrows are yours to command. Grant mercy to our weak, help to the helpless, help to our helpless, and justice to all, and we shall never fail you. I swear it by earth and water, said the boy in green. I swear it by bronze and iron, his sister said. We swear it by ice and fire, they finished together. Bran grubbed for words. Was he supposed to swear something back to them? Their oath was not one he had been taught. May your winters be short and your summers bountiful, he said. That was usually a good thing to say. Rise, and Brandon's dog. The girl, 난 잘 갔다 와요. Mira got to her feet and helped her brother up. The boy stared at Bran all the while. We bring you gifts of fish and frog and fowl, he said. I thank you. Bran wondered if he would have to eat a frog to be polite. I offer you the meat and mead of Winterfell. He tried to recall all he had been taught of the cragman, who dwelt amongst the bogs of the neck and seldom left the wetlands. They were a poor folk, fishers and frog hunters who lived in houses of thatch and wooden reeds or floating islands hidden in the deeps of the swamp. It was said that they were a cowardly people who fought with poisoned weapons and preferred to hide from foes rather than face them in open battle. And yet Howland Reed had been one of Father's staunchest champions during the war for King Robert's crown before Bran was born. 여기까지 읽을게요.